afternoon. Today is Tuesday, January 11th. The year is 2022. And I am standing in my living room. The last video I did, I reported to you all that I had tested positive for COVID. I am doing a lot better. That was so... I initially got sick on Thursday. So Thursday would have, I think that was, I looked at, if I'm correct, Thursday was the 8th. Let's see. The initial symptoms I had I had them on Thursday, so that would have been the 6th. And I got my test on the 8th and got the results back on Sunday, the 9th. And so the worst of it was Saturday. That's when I realized I couldn't breathe. I said, oh Lord, I can't breathe. What's going on? So, well, I know I don't believe in the Lord or Jesus and all that. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Because me and my mother had this huge argument. But anyway, I feel 10,000% better. I'm breathing. The nasal spray my doctor gave me, that unfortunately cost $370 and my insurance was not going to cover it. That's another story. So I'm back. I feel back to normal, although I still have a runny nose. My throat's still a little sore, but not so bad. I'm still back to drinking. So I'm drinking this tea, so I got me a little thermos mug, and my tea kept getting cold so quick. This keeps my tea hot. Perfect. This tea, honey, just regular. A little vodka in it too, so. But anyway, I'm actually doing pretty good. Back breathing normally. Not in any discomfort. No coughing. I am taking some over-the-counter supplements like Mucinex. No chest congestion. That's all gone. The pain in my chest is gone. Back to normal for the most part. I went to the grocery store, had my mask on, picked up a few things and ran up out of it with nobody there. This is old nosy white woman. She came real close to me. I had to let my mask down and cough on her. Bitch. She ran and she didn't get the fuck out of my damn face. If somebody, well, I don't know why, and I'm just kidding. There's no white woman that came near me at the store and I coughed on, but I would have coughed on that white bitch. But anyway, people need to keep their distance because you don't know what somebody got. I know I look very healthy and everything and fit and in shape. But here I am with the coronavirus, grabbing a few things at Kroger because I need to say, I ain't got nobody help me do shit over here. So, that was quarantining all right. Give me some coffee cream at Kroger. Fuck them motherfuckers. They better stay away. And I did the self-checkout, got my car, came home. But I am feeling a whole lot better. It just is what it is. And a lot of people say, well, where'd you get it from? How'd you get it? Who'd you get it from? Nobody knows where they got COVID from or who they got it from. It's kind of hard to figure that out. Some people might know, but I guess I got it at the gym. Who knows? But for the most part, I am fully vaccinated and got my booster and gonna get every other booster shot they have to offer. So for me, I'm perfectly fine now. A few days laying in bed watching TV. What was I watching on TV? That's the crazy part, because I've been in this house since Saturday. And I watched a couple of things on TV. I can't remember the shit I was watching on TV. Oh, I watched the movie called The Odds of Tammy Faye Baker. And there was a couple other things I watched. What else to do but watch this and, make it work. But I am glad to be back to normal. I probably just, they said you only need 5 days to get on back to the real world. I should be back to normal tomorrow. Oh, excuse me, Beltran. It does make me wonder, because my breathing was kind of, when I think about it now, I wonder had I been dealing with this for a few days and it just kind of peaked last Saturday. Because last week I was a little breathless now when I think about it, because now I'm fully in it, I can breathe and everything's fine now. So it just makes me wonder, could I have had a little bit longer than that? Who knows? I don't know. I'm glad I did go get tested, though. Got up off my ass and went out there and got that test. Very glad that I went and got that test. Very glad I went and got my vaccination, so I'm playing all by all the rules. Just because you are fully vaccinated doesn't mean that you will not get COVID. The purpose of the vaccines is so that you don't end up in the hospital with a severe case of COVID on a ventilator because you have pneumonia, like what Earl went through. And a lot of other people I know who went through. And a lot of other folks I know who didn't make it through it and died. So I'm grateful for these vaccines. They're very important. And, those of you who are smart enough to get it, who have gotten it, congratulate yourself, and let's continue to move forward. I'm ready to travel and go places and do some shit. Those of you who haven't, just be careful. I cannot wait for this COVID pandemic to come to an end. But for the time being, we're stuck in this mess. So me and my mother got into this debate about religion, and particularly white folks. My mother seems to think white folks can do no wrong. Now, my mother was born in Birmingham, Alabama. She grew up in Gary and then went to high school in Michigan. But my mother seems to think, she lives in a fantasy world. She forgets the stuff she told us when we were kids, what it was like in Alabama, Gary, and Michigan, dealing with racist white folks. Now that my mother's all this Christian mess, she's willing to forget and forgive all this shit that white folks did to black folks and continue to do to us to this day. Well, I just don't have a problem with white folks. I don't have a problem with white folks. And we went at it back and forth, and I just got lost it. Because my mother doesn't live in the real world. She doesn't watch the news. She doesn't know what's going on around her. She doesn't know what's going on in her neighborhood. She really didn't even know nothing about the thing that when the white folks ran up into the Capitol. She didn't know what was going on there. I had to call her. She's watching Christian news. You watching this? What's going on? So my mother lives in this fantasy world. She doesn't live in reality. And when you live in a fantasy world, you don't really live in reality. You don't know what the fuck is going on around you. My mother hasn't bought a house in years, so she doesn't know that these real estate appraisers are redlining black homeowners and giving them low appraisals on their homes. I've known about this for years because I used to build and renovate houses. My mother doesn't have a bank account where she's been in a bank trying to handle banking businesses, and she was treated banking while black and had her account closed and all this type of stuff because she just gets Social Security check. So my mother hasn't gone through any of the stuff that you and I have gone through, younger blacks. Not in recent years. But my mother went through a lot of stuff when she was younger, but she seems to forget all this stuff. And she give white folks a pass. I'm not giving them white bitches a pass. I'm just not. I've met too many racist white folks, and I know what they're doing. I've seen the bullshit. I know what they're about. I know what these white folks will do to you. And I know what these white folks are doing to black folks. You can walk into there are businesses that are black owned here in Atlanta, sure enough. But I find it odd to walk into major corporations here in Atlanta and you don't see no black men. You see some black women, you see white women, you see white men. No black men. It's like, well, where are the black guys? None. Not even pushing a mail cart, they don't have that no more anyway. Everybody gets email. It's just kind of odd that you don't see a lot of black men in certain places here in Atlanta. It just seems very weird to me because they're not letting them in. And it doesn't matter your education or your background or how much money in the bank you got or whoever you are. They don't give a fuck. They ain't letting you in there. So when you look at black neighborhoods and the disintegration of black neighborhoods, the destruction of black areas, the mistreatment of blacks, and why black areas look the way they look, and you look at them white folks. Because 9 times, 10 times out of 10, they're the reason why a lot of these neighborhoods look the way they look because of the horrible practices they have done to limit money that goes into black areas. Money that can go to black homeowners to help them renovate their homes. Whether it's a line of credit or an equity line, it's almost impossible to get that stuff in black areas because they don't think your house is worth nothing. So my mother hasn't had to go to a bank and apply for a line of credit or a home equity line or any of this stuff. She never done any of this stuff. My mother lives in a fantasy world. Fantasy world. And don't forget, my mother lived in a house for years. Though my father, they brought that house back then. My mother never really worked a real job. She didn't. Let's just keep it real. My father working at steel mill. My mother was sitting up at home watching us. We had both parents. If mama wasn't there, daddy was there. Well, like we ever came home and had a key to open up the door and nobody was there. One of them was there. Most of the time, mama was there. She was a stay-home mom, which is fine. But let's be honest. My father worked a dangerous job that took his life working at the U.S. Steel Mill in order for him to raise 7 children and take care of them. Jesus had nothing to do with that. But my mother loves Jesus and God and Christ. And that mess pisses me off. I repeatedly told my mother, do not text me that Jesus crap. So when I told her I was positive for COVID, she sent me this Jesus, this God. I said, okay. I couldn't breathe. I got ass on the phone. Miss Hampton, don't send me this mess. She's always trying to force her religious beliefs onto her children and everybody else she can get to. And that's not right. Everybody ain't into that fake Jesus God and Jesus and Bahubi and Bible and all. Everybody don't want to listen to this mess. If she enjoys it, then enjoy it. But see, that keeps her in a fantasy world. But she don't have to live in the real world. Because in the real world, I'm paying her rent, her insurance, her car payment, the car insurance, the utilities, all come out my bank account. That I got to put the money in there to pay for that, on top of paying for my own shit. I don't mind that she's my mother. But don't live in a fantasy world and say Jesus is taking care. Jesus ain't did shit for you because I ain't seen where that motherfucker at. Jesus! Jesus! Where the fuck you at? Where is he? Where? I need to run up to the make a deposit. Where the fuck is that bastard at? You won't find him. But you will find my black ass paying for her car note, her insurance on that car, maintenance and upkeep, washing the vehicle, her rent, renter's insurance, and the other gas and everything else. Yeah, she get her Social Security check. Ain't much. She go throw it. I don't know what she do with that money. I really don't care. Then she done ran this credit card up. Jesus ain't nowhere to be found, Miss Hampton. My name is Walter, not fucking Jesus Christ. Walter Lee Hampton II. I have to keep reminding her of this. Jesus ain't done shit for your black ass. Ever. Ever. So quit calling him out and saying he didn't do shit. He ain't did shit for nobody. Because he don't fucking exist. So I have to remind her of that. I have to keep reminding her that. Don't make me that Jesus shit. Because I don't want to fucking hear it. I'm just sick of it. And those of you who believe in that shit, you are goddamn fool for believing in that fake ass bullshit. You're a fool. You need to be slapped. My mama need a good slapping to bring her out that bullshit. I was sitting over there reading the Bible. Don't even know what the fuck going on around her. And sometimes it's disheartening. It's scary. You should be reading this Bible. You don't even know if there could be an earthquake going on. Well, I guess you know if there's an earthquake was going on, firestorm or something. There was that fire that burned up the people in that building. Mama, did you see that? I didn't see what happened. In New York, that fire, that horrible fire. Where was Jesus then? Okay. I ain't got time for that fake Jesus shit. I've never cared for it. And I noticed something too about all these people in this Jesus shit. They're the poorest people on planet Earth. All my family members and friends who love Jesus, they ain't got shit. Why is this? Now, Jesus shows should be providing y'all with some good shit, but Jesus ain't providing y'all with nothing. That's kind of scary. You praying to Jesus every night, but your shit is on the verge of utilities cut off, gas, no money in the bank, no nothing. But, of course, Jesus is a fantasy. He ain't real. And that God, none of this shit. There's no Jesus, no angels, no Bible, fake, God, all that fake ass shit. It's all fake. And if you live in that fantasy world, you're going to need a lot of help. Mental health. I have a couple of friends who are always God and Jesus and posting God and Jesus. They flat ass broke. One of them lived in a boarding house. I'm like, well, you live in a rooming house. He called me yesterday with all these songs. I have to hang up the phone. I'll call you back. I don't want to hear this shit. You ain't woke up yet? You living in a rooming house. It's just sad. In church every Sunday. Posting all this stuff on Facebook and Instagram. I'm like, this boy is sick, but he ain't the only one. He ain't the only one. Constantly, I despise religion. I don't care if it's Christian, Muslim, Jewish, whatever. They're all fake. And you gotta live in the real world. Because Jesus or Muhammad or whoever ain't coming to rescue your black ass. Ain't nobody coming to rescue me. I knew if I had COVID, I was going to have to lay up on this couch. So when I went and got that COVID test, I said, I better run back to Kroger and give me some shit, and I'm going to be in trouble over here. I went and got a whole bunch of shit, just grabbed a buggy and grabbed shit. I said, because I'm going to be stuck in that house. And what if I get worse? Guess who's going to come over here? Who? Jesus? Jesus! Where you at? He ain't coming. That bastard ain't coming. It's offensive to you, you're offended. You're offended because you believing in some fake ass bullshit like my mama believed in, or my grandmother believed in, and her grandmother believed in, and her grandmother believed in, and we can go back decades. And if y'all only knew how my family had lived. Whew. Jesus ain't gonna save you. So waiting on that motherfucker is waiting on a fantasy. Waiting on a fairy tale. Meanwhile, the white folks then took over every damn thing. They destroyed everything. I was thinking last night when I was in the old Fourth Ward. The old Fourth Ward is an area off Boulevard in downtown Atlanta. Horrible. It was horrible. I bought a house there in 1996. Built a brand new home. Paid $400,000 for the house. It was the most expensive house in the area at that time. Gunfire, shooting, robberies, rapes, killings, murder, prostitution, drug dealing. It was horrible. Then the white folks found it. And they got it for cheap. Real cheap. And they moved in there and the neighborhood changed drastically. It's a whole nother world over there. $1 million townhouse over there. That house that I paid $400,000 back in 96 probably worth about a good 1.7, 1.8, maybe $2 million now, give or take. Should have kept that damn house if I'd known they was going to come over there. See, while we're praying to God and Jesus waiting for a miracle, they out there taking care of business. They ain't thinking about ours. They swept through there in the middle of the night and the whole 4-4 changed. It's still kind of rough in some spots over there, but nowhere near as bad as it was. Nowhere near as bad. It just makes you wonder. Because see, while we running around praying to Jesus and going from those white folks, they doing what they doing what they always been doing. Same old. My mother doesn't see how she harmed her children because of her religious beliefs. She don't see it. And she doesn't see how her mother's religious beliefs harmed her. And generation after generation, this fake Jesus crap. When you look at black neighborhoods, particularly here in Atlanta, we have some decent black neighborhoods, some. We have a few. But the vast majority of these niggas living in poverty. It's horrible. It's bad. It's really bad. And it was even worse. It was terrible here. But we waiting on Jesus and God and angels and all that other bullshit. Y'all can miss me with that bullshit because I don't want to hear it. So don't be saying, I'm praying for you, Walter. You don't need to pray for me. Excuse me, send me some cash. You better off send me a bottle of vodka. I like Absolute vodka. It ain't that damn expensive. I don't have to have a Grey Goose. Send me a bottle of Absolute vodka. Don't waste your prayers. Not on me. And I don't need it. Because it ain't doing no good for none of us. Yeah, but that's what we got into it about her texting me all this bullshit all the time. I said, stop it. Before I block you. And y'all might say, well, that's just, I don't want to see that shit. Sometimes you get tired of that fake ass mess. Good, you get tired of it. Now, my mother wanted to do some good. She couldn't come in because, I had COVID. So it would have been nice if she came in and cleaned up around here, but she couldn't do that either damn way. She could have ran by the liquor store and said, well, you need some of that Absolute vodka over there? Bring me 2 bottles of that, big bottles of that vodka, mama. Use that credit card I'm paying for and swipe it for me some vodka. And bring it over here and set it at my back porch. Thank you. That would have been much better than her sending me these worthless ass text messages all day about God, Jesus, and angels and all this other bullshit. I don't hear that shit. I don't want to read it. Anyway. See, I'm back to normal. I am breathing. I had a good rant video here. I'm back to normal. I'm back. And then in Jesus' ain't nothing to do with me getting back. Thank goodness for that good medicine our doctor gave me. That I paid $370 fucking for $370 for that nasal spray. Yeah. $370. Oh, Lord. And I almost didn't buy it. And I was walking in for that pharmacy. I noticed I couldn't get away from the pharmacy. Let me go back. I turned around and said, ring that mess up. She said, you sure you want it? I said, you ring that nasal spray up. And I whipped out that American Express card. That's my Jesus. Don't leave home without it. Stuck it in the hood and went right on through. I said, okay, good. I ripped open that box right there in that store and sat there and sprayed up my nose and sat there for a few minutes. And my folks look at me, what's wrong with that nigga? And I was like a crack addict, honey. I was sitting over there. I literally sat there in that chair by that pharmacy. I couldn't breathe. If I'd have passed on them foreign white folks, probably would have stepped over my head. Oh, drunk nigga, drug addict, crackhead. But my mother loved them white folks. They ain't never done nothing wrong with me. Mama, shut up. I don't want to hear shit about these white folks that you didn't fell in love with. Because 20 years ago, you couldn't stand their asses. Now you love them. Anyway. Today is Tuesday, January 11th. The year is 2022. I hope I had the year right before the beginning of this bill. I'm over here. Yeah. So send me some vodka, y'all. Keep your worthless prayers. I don't want to hear you. Don't come about me praying and Jesus is God. I would delete that shit. I don't want to see it. I'm not living in that fantasy world with you niggas. I'm gonna stay rooted in the real fucking world. But I know that son of a bitch don't exist. Today's Tuesday, January 11th, 2022. I'm out. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. I'm out. Bye.